Hi Virgo, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign, though check them out for all three so that you know which part of you I resonate with most as a reader. With that said, remember they're general readings. Use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, you have, if you are a continued subby, you know Rafi loves you. If you're new to my channel, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit the subscribe button. Your key this week is the High Priestess, hidden things revealed, right? So this week, trust your intuitive faculties and powers, and also do consider that this week it might be wise for you to take some time to reacquaint yourself with your intuitive faculty, right? The other thing is as well, this week it's likely to be that the messages or the information that you need is going to come from a woman, and it also means as well that this week it's possible that your mother or the most important woman in your life could feature for you in some regard. Now, for your actions and options this week, you've got the Tower card, right? So this coupled with the High Priestess, the Tower card with the High Priestess, it tends to show up as this is a secret that's revealed, and it's a big one that's likely to shatter the ground in some way. I'm really sorry to say that. There's no getting around it, right? This can be where maybe your mum comes to you and says, you know what, I'm divorcing your father. This could be where your sister comes to you and says, you know what, I think I'm a lesbian. This could be when, and remember the Tower card is your actions and options. So this is about what you do. So some sort of secret, the High Priestess, that you divulge is likely to upset the apple cart this week. Now, when I say that, what the apple cart is or who decides, whether it's upsetting or not is a different matter. What this tells me more than anything else, look, it's 11:55 here in the UK. I just find that really interesting. It's like 11, 1155, right? 11 energy being master number vibration, but 1 energy being something new, 5 energy representing change. What this tells me more than anything else is that whatever secret you are sharing or you feel like you're ready to talk about, it may be that you're doing this because you realize that you need the freedom or the liberation from whatever this burden is that you've carried, right? There's an element of that to it. This is like, it's a poor example and a scary example to give, but it's the one that comes to mind. It's like, when someone commits like a really horrendous crime and they just go back to their lives and, they don't think about it and they constantly try to push it down. And then all of a sudden, like the guilt gets too much and they walk into the police station and they just they blurt it all out. This can be something along those lines. It doesn't have to be that extreme. Maybe you say to your partner, I'm really sorry, but I cheated on you. Maybe it doesn't even have to be like that. This could be, I have been, I've been attracted to somebody of the same sex. I have, maybe you're coming out to friends or to family. Whatever the case might be, there's something that you feel ready or pushed to share now that may get some sort of pearl clutches this week. It's like it's just not expected. Doesn't mean it's bad. It doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. It just means that whatever you're sharing is likely to be unexpected. You've got the Judgment card in your communications and conversations, right? So whatever you're talking about, you feel the inward urge, right? You feel the inner push or drive to share this thing with the world. It's like you're called to action in some way, shape or form, and you're answering that call by divulging whatever this secret is. Now, for a lot of you, this might be something that you've held on to for a very long time. The Judgment card is usually in excess of 20 plus years. So this could be a secret that you've held on to for a very long time. You've got this with the High Priestess. For those of you particularly, or specifically, should I say, that are interested in, or have an ancestral practice, I would not be surprised if this week it yields some form of result. What I mean by this is maybe you have an ancestor practice and, maybe every so often you have a dream or whatever, but that's about it. Whereas this week you could have some sort of direct communication. They give you a dream, they give you a message of some sort, and it's so loud or so prominent or so clear that you just cannot, you can't ignore it. You're like, yep, straight away, I know exactly what you mean. And you're just like in awe of like, okay, I did all of this work and now it's actually paid off. For those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, Judgment with the Tower, this might actually be an announcement that comes from your place of study that gets you to see things in a very different light, or potentially sees you deciding, like you might have to make the decision this week where you say, I don't know if I want to be a part of this institution anymore. When it comes to those of you that are employed by somebody else, big shifts, big changes coming in, especially to management, upper level management, potentially even ownership of the company that you work for. Watch out for this, because it's going to send a lot of shock waves or ripples across the ground level. Interestingly enough, I don't feel like you will be affected, but you might still say to yourself, actually, I don't, I'm gutted that they didn't pick me to be made redundant, because I don't want to be here. I'm here because I have to be for now. When it comes to those of you that are, oh, come on, brain. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, similar kind of energy, only the difference is this week, whatever you are putting out with, through, or via your business, whether this is a service, whether it's a product, etc., you might be really surprised at how well it does, like very quickly, or what the reach is that it gains really quickly. You might be pleasantly surprised at how sort of things really unfold for you. So love that for you, I actually do. The other thing is as well, if you've got your own personal business, this is likely to be that some sort of help that's been going on behind the scenes, or some kind of spiritual help, may show up for you this week, where it kind of helps you. It's almost like you feel like, oh, I feel like there's someone or something watching out for my business, because suddenly it's starting to move, suddenly it's starting to grow. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, this will be connections to older members of the family, ancestors, ancestors near, ancestors far, meaning those that are still alive and those that aren't. There's a lot of focus on the heritage this week. There's a lot of focus there. It's really, really interesting. For your love and relations, you've got the Moon card, right? So a lot of big concentration of major card energies here. The Moon card is the past. Coupled with the Judgment card, it's the deep past, right? This is, again, whatever's coming up this week, whatever conversations you're having, a lot of this goes back at least, and I would say at least a decade and a half, more than likely probably longer than that. I'm going to say anywhere from like 20 to 25 years. So if you're not old enough for that, then obviously, you have to factor that in. If that is the case, and let's say you're only like 27 and you're watching this, ask your parents what was happening around the age of 2. All right, like what was happening around that time for them, and what was, the big sort of prominence in your lifescape at the time. For those of you that are around this age, think back. What was going on for you around this time? What was happening? What was going on in relationships in particular, but also with the family and with your work, right? Those 3 areas of life. Ask yourself, what were the big trends and themes unfolding for you? Now, for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, this is likely to be something that is shared now that comes up. This could be something from your personal past. This could be anything from, I've always had this irrational fear of, whatever the case might be. And now now's the first time that I'm actually telling you, even though we've been married 10 years, right? Like there's something that you're ready to divulge now that you never have been. With the Moon card as well, when it comes to your, oh, come on, brain. When it comes to those of you that are single and looking, I wouldn't be surprised if you find yourself reconnecting with somebody from your past. This would be somebody that you dated as a teenager, somebody that is, let's say you're 30 plus. This would be somebody who you haven't seen for a good, like at least a decade and a half. At least, right? So you're bumping into, reconnecting with, getting the Facebook request, or maybe you're the person putting the Facebook request out. There's a lot of this kind of past energy, but it's like coming into the present and it's really shaking things up. Now, I want to mention to you on the 18th of May, I have something truly special that I'll be launching, that I'll be sharing with you guys. I can't wait for you to get into it. I really think you're going to love it. Interestingly enough, it's something that actually a lot of you guys have already asked me for. And I will have to say to you, like, if you loved Mindset Magic, if that was a little bit of you, then you are absolutely going to love this. And I have to say, it's probably, not even probably, it is the most accessible price point, time-wise, etc., the thing that I have ever created. All right, so stay tuned. I think you are going to love this. I'm really, really excited about it. It's not something that's brand new, right? It's something that's actually been done by several people. Many people are still doing it, but they haven't done it in the way that I do it. All right, so stay tuned. All signs point to now. This feels like the right moment to be putting this out into the world. So stay tuned. Let me know. Yeah, I can't wait to have you along. I think you're going to love it. All right, so when it comes to your money and materials, you've got the Ace of Wands. Love this, right? So your ideas, the things that you are now ready to start putting out into the world, putting out into practice. This is about, you know, the Ace of Wands is a great card for money because it tends to accelerate whatever knowledge or skills we have. We're able to put them out into the world and see them start to sort of immediately take shape, which is great. You've got this with the High Priestess, so it's something that you've already been working on behind the scenes, kind of putting together, getting ready, all of that good stuff. And here now it's like you're putting it out once more. So I absolutely love that for you. The other thing as well with the Ace of Wands, it's a boost to the cash flow in the immediate, right? So there's like a nice little boost to the money that's coming now. Potentially it lasts, we will have to see, but really, really interesting. And I wonder as well with this Ace of Wands, with all of the other cards here of past and ancestry and stuff, I wonder if this is money that comes from a relative that you didn't know that you had. Maybe you get like a secret inheritance of some sort and you're like, oh, you know, I had an aunt or an uncle pass away and they've left me all this money, you know, or do you know what I mean? Like something along those lines, or maybe a parent passes and, you know, you were none the wiser as to whether they even had a, you know, a stash pot or whatever, and all of a sudden you find yourself getting an inheritance. Some really interesting stuff this week. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, Ace of Wands is probably one of my favorite cards for physical health and vitality because it means that you've got the mojo. The energy is good, the energy is high, you've got energy to do everything that you need to, and it also means that any form of healing that needs to take place starts now. And then finally, when it comes to your home and environment, your living situation, the Ace of Wands is lovely for home, but it does suggest that home will be very busy. And if you're about to throw a cat amongst the pigeons, it kind of makes sense, right? So it'll be interesting to see how this shows up. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.